rated it a 5-star, but now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, was it a 5-star? The best adaptation of 2023 has to go to... Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is so heavy, but we had to get the thumbnail, right? So let me set this down. Welcome to my channel. I'm Joyce. If this is your very first time here, I hope that you are prioritizing wellness and self-care. In today's video, we are doing the end of year book tag. Now, I saw Sarah Caroli do this book tag, but I guess the idea originated from Destiny, so I will tag or pop a picture of her channel or something like that just to give credit where credit is due, darling. But without further ado, let us get into the list. So there are 22 questions here to answer, which is a lot. Yikes. So make sure that you have some water or coffee or both like me. So let us get into this list, honey, because 22 questions is a lot. And I will put them in the description box if you choose to participate in the tag. Okay, so starting with the first question, the most disappointing read of the year. And that has to go to, oh, this kind of breaks my heart. And I have to give it to Yellowface, unfortunately. And the only reason why is because my expectations were this high. They were so high for this particular book, and it just didn't live up to the expectations that I had for it. However, this was still a really good book. The next book is an underdog book of the year. So I read Miracle Creek this year, and it was so good. I have not heard a single person talk about this book, but it was so powerful. It was very endearing. I love how riveting the thoughts were that were running through some of the moms' heads, and I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe that the author was able to take it there and just share and expose some of the things that moms are generally thinking, especially if you have children that have special needs, or not even just thinking, but things that we're dealing with, things that we're experiencing. But like I said, it's an underdog because I have not heard a single person talking about this book, but I absolutely love this book. The next question is a book that was overhyped, and I'm gonna have to give this one to The 7-Year Slip. I could give it to so many other books, but I have to give it to The 7-Year Slip only because it was extremely hyped, specifically this fall. And I don't even know if that book came out this year or not. It did. So actually, The 7-Year Slip came out in June of 2023, and people love this book. They ate it up. I do appreciate and love the concept of like the magical realism, or like the apartment travels back in time. I thought that was a very cool element to the book. But overall, I think I gave the book a 3. So it wasn't bad. It was good enough, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. Like the way that the book was so hyped, I'm thinking I'm about to be swooning and giddy and blushing and crying, and I don't know, I just thought it was going to be a 5-star, and it wasn't. And generally that's what happens if a book feels overhyped to you. It's just that a lot of people are talking about it, and maybe you just didn't have the same expectations that they did. So that's why I'm giving it to The 7-Year Slip. The next question we have, ooh, favorite book couple of the year. Okay, I do I have this book here? Some of the books I have here, some of them I don't. They're not in order, and as you saw, I had to take a thumbnail picture, so we got a mess going on. It's fine. So my favorite book couple is gonna have to go to Rome and Janelle. How can you not? They are from the book Only for a Week by Natasha Bishop, and I ate this book up. It was so cute. Love the graphics in this book. This book was just really good. I rated this book, I believe, like a 4 or 4.5 stars, something like that. But it was such a good time, and their connection, their chemistry, unmatched. They instantly fell for each other. They had a lot of chemistry, if you know what I mean, between each other. Rome is a book boyfriend. Let me tell you, he just really is. Like, he's a book boyfriend. I'll never forget his character. And he was just so unashamed to love Janelle. And that did it for me. I love a man that knows what he wants and he just goes after it. And he treats the girl right. Stop playing with me. Everything about their romance was so freaking cute to me, and I just love them as a book couple. So the next question is favorite main characters. Gotta give it to my girl Izat. Elizabeth Zott from Lessons in Chemistry. She is my girl. You cannot tell me that she does not live in our history books. You cannot tell me that our kids don't need to learn who Elizabeth Zott is. You cannot tell me that she is not real. I love Elizabeth Zott. I love you, Izat. And clearly we're on a nickname basis, like, what up, Izat? So Izat is my girl, okay? I love everything about her. I love how she's like not going to bend to stereotypes. She's powerful, she's driven, she's quirky, she's tenacious. She's all the things that you want in a character like this. Oh my gosh, and it's so cool because even on the back here, one of the blurbs says, Elizabeth Zott is going to be an important character to a lot of people. Listen, I'm the a lot of people. I love her. I really do. She was just everything you want in a character, everything you want in a woman, and oh, I just love me some Izat. So anyway, let me move on because now I'm just getting carried away. I wanted to do one girl and one guy. So for the guy, I picked Josiah. He is from the book Before I Let Go. Listen, I loved Josiah. Let me tell you why. Because he was just so delicate. He was so delicate with the feelings and the emotions of his children and his ex-wife and his girlfriend. He was just so passionate. I love that about him. I love a man that is willing to change the narrative, okay? So a lot of times men don't want to go to therapy. They have all these different beliefs and different notions about talking to strangers about their business. And I love a man that is able to be tender for his children. It's so attractive to me. Mainly the only reason he goes to therapy is because his son has to go to therapy, and he's like, I'll do it with you, son. So he does it as a way to show solidarity with his son. And then obviously he starts to unpack and learn and heal from things he hadn't healed from, address things he hadn't addressed. I just absolutely love him. And I love the way that Kennedy Ryan wrote his character. My YA character, it has to be Pip. I love Pip. She's from How to Get Away with Murder. No, she is not. That is a TV show. Oh my God. What is the name of that book? Oh my God. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Okay, I'm already cutting up. Even here on my Goodreads review, it says, I love Pip. She's brave, observant, and determined. Those are things that I love to see in a character, especially one in high school. I just really enjoyed her character. I actually did just download part 2 of that series on Audible, so I cannot wait to get into it. Okay, so the next question is a book that surprised you. Now, I'm gonna have to start this one with Daisy Jones and the Six. I did not want to read that book. I did not find the book interesting. I'm like, a rock band? I don't think I'm gonna like it. Then I was like, you know what? I really want to try a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Let me just try it. Let me just see. Listen, I really enjoyed that book. And I was so happy that I got to listen to the audiobook. I didn't do the physical copy. And I feel like if you read that book, the audiobook is where it's at because it's narrated by all the different characters in the book. It was perfect. Their voice embodies exactly what you think these particular characters sound like and feel like. It's just so good. I was and still am very shocked that I enjoyed this book because I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I also was very shocked that I really enjoyed Happy Place. So I read Beach Read by Emily Henry and I wasn't the biggest fan. And I was just like, ugh, this isn't how I like my romance written. I just was like, I'm not gonna read any more books by her. But then I was like, you know what? That's not really fair. Let me give her another chance. So Happy Place came out. I gave it a chance. I loved it. I rated this 4 stars. It made you feel so happy while reading this book. Emily Henry has a very beautiful writing style and she does write really good romance. So I'm very glad that I gave her another chance and that I was able to appreciate her writing style. I'm still torn if I'm gonna read anything else by her or not, but I'm glad that we were able to redeem our relationship with Happy Place. Next question, new favorite author you discovered in 2023. Has to be Kennedy Ryan. That's the very first one. I read Before I Let Go this year. That was the best book that I read this year. I fell in love and now she's just an auto-buy author for me. The second author is Annabelle Monaghan. She's the author of Nora Goes Off Script and Same Time Next Summer. I love the way that she writes contemporary romance. She might be an auto-buy author for me too, now that I thought about it. So yeah, I'm really glad that I discovered her and I love all of the books that I've read by her so far. Another one is Frida, Big Frida. Listen, I love a good popcorn thriller. Frida's the queen of popcorn thriller. So I am so glad that I discovered her in this year and I will always read Frida's books. I don't know if I'm gonna read every book that she's ever written, but the books that she's coming out with, I'm probably gonna buy them and I'm probably gonna read them. So I just absolutely love Frida and how fun and thrilling and exciting her books are. She's just such a good time. If you want a good thriller, you need to read one by Frida. So the next question is the happiest read of the year. Obviously Happy Place makes us all happy. Like you couldn't read that book and not feel happy, but I want to try and stick with one book per category. Okay, I'm doing my best. So I want to give this one to Nora Goes Off Script because I was so happy. I felt so seen reading this book because the main character, she's a mom and she has just like the most mundane routine. I loved how the author was able to make a character who has a very traditional mundane life seem so beautiful. It made me feel so happy. And because she was just winning. Like after she got divorced, you know, that's a hard thing to go through, to get divorced divorce, you have to like process and accept your new life, and then you don't know if you're gonna find love. And then if you have children, that's a whole nother layer. How can I bring this man around my kids or whatever? It was just so beautiful to see her win. She was winning, you guys, in so many different categories, and it was just so fun. I was so happy for her. The book had a happy ending. I was crying, I was smiling, I was kicking, just all the things that you want when you're reading a book. So without a doubt, this was the happiest read of the year for me. Most frustrating book of 2023, it was Housemaids. Now, that's a 5-star read for me, so don't play. Don't think I didn't like the book. I love the book. I ate it up. But the reason it was frustrating is because of the main character. I was just like, why do you keep getting yourself in these situations? Why don't you quit this job? Why are you taking this job when you see all these signs and signals that this is a bad idea? So I just kept remembering that I was so frustrated, especially because like her boss was just driving me insane. I'm just like, oh, what a narcissist. So again, Frida does her thing with thriller books, and obviously you were supposed to feel that way while reading this book. Oh, I'm me getting a phone call while trying to record. I don't even know what I was saying, child, but I was just really frustrated with the characters and the scenarios, not necessarily the book. I absolutely love the book, and I will always recommend it. The Housemaid series was the best series that I read in 2023, so highly recommend. The next question is the best adaptation of the year, and I was able to watch a few. So I got to watch Lessons in Chemistry. I started Daisy Jones and the Six. I do need to finish that. I started Black Cake. I am still in the process of watching that. I am on episode 6 out of 8. It's really good so far. And I also had the pleasure of watching The Perfect Find, which the book is beyond greater than the adaptation, but that is not who I am choosing for this category. The best adaptation of 2023 has to go to Lessons in Chemistry. The crowd goes wild. Oh my God. Let me tell you guys, Lessons in Chemistry, the book is great. The adaptation is great. The characters are great. The casting is great. The differences are great. Like, what was different in the show as opposed to the book? Perfection. Okay, I loved how the show is its own work of fiction, but it resembles the book so much. There's lines from the book. Oh, it was so good. But then there were things that, like in the book, maybe I wish it would have been a little bit different. And sure enough, it was like that in the show. I ate it up. Lessons in Chemistry is the jam. Now I'm trying to decide, did I like Lessons in Chemistry better or Before I Let Go better? Ooh, we might have a tie, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know, Before I Let Go just like really devoured me. So the longest book you read this year has to go to Fourth Wing. I don't even remember how many pages was in this book. 498, and I liked it. This was actually my first fantasy. I had a good time. Bought Iron Flame. Haven't got to finish that book yet, but I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as Fourth Wing, but we'll see. The shortest book you read this year, it was actually a book by Frida. And I was like, Frida, I cannot believe you let me down with this book. And I just read it recently in a vlog. So girl, you don't even have to waste your time and read this little bit of splash of a book. How many pages? 53, but I think when I actually read it, it was really only like 46. I wish it was a little bit longer. I feel like if it was a little bit longer, it would have been better. Okay, so the next question, we're on number 13. It is favorite cover of the year, and it has to go to Before I Let Go. Baby, when you see a beautiful black woman on a cover and you see gold and you see black, this melanin is popping, you see this afro, this can't not win this question for me. Like, look at this cover. Eating the girls up. And I think it's a combination of my favorite colors. It's just so pretty. It's nothing crazy, but it's beautiful. So this wins my favorite cover of 2023. So the next question is a book you haven't stopped thinking about. 100%. Hello Beautiful. The way that I miss these characters is ridiculous. The way that Ann Napolitano wrote these characters with so much love and so much care and so much depth, situations that were complicated, scenarios that were heavy. This book was just so enthralling. It's a character-driven story, so I think that's why the characters are still lasting with me. And again, it made you miss the characters and think about them and how are they today, which is so weird. I can't even believe that I'm saying that, but that book was so beautiful, and that's the one that lives rent-free in my head sometimes. The cringiest book you read this year has to go to Ugly Love. This was not a bad book. I think I rated this book like 3 stars, but let me tell you, the love is ugly. Ooh, it got ugly in here. And I think that's why it was so cringy. Anytime a woman is going through that season where she has like self-esteem issues or she doesn't know her worth and she's allowing a guy to not love her properly, oh, it bothers me. I get real like I don't know about this. And no shade, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have or are there, and it's something that you have to recognize and work through. But that's what made the book cringy to me. I'm just like, girl, if you don't leave this man alone and go and find you somebody that can love you the right way, girl, bye. Not only was it cringy, it also was kind of frustrating, but this was a tough story to write. Colleen Hoover and her brain and her mind, I'm just like, girl, these stories live up in your head. Like, I need to have a conversation with her because that was a heavy one. Okay, so this next question is an unpopular book that you loved. It has to go to The Maid's Diary. This book I randomly came across and I had so much fun. I know a lot of people are not going to love this book, and I was so surprised when it was nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award. I was like, oh, okay, maybe other people have read this book. Sometimes you feel like you're the only person that has read a book when you don't hear other people talking about it. I was just shocked by how much I enjoyed the story, but what's so crazy is now thinking back, I can barely remember it. There's like 3 things that I remember. Everything else is kind of a blur. So I rated it a 5-star, but now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, was it a 5-star? Maybe it was just like a really good time and it was 5-star energy while I was reading. But all my 5 stars, I can vividly remember a lot. And I can see why it would be unpopular because it was very unrealistic, but it was so much fun. The next question is, what was the highest and lowest rated books you read this year on Goodreads? Do you agree? So I wasn't gonna do this because I'm like, oh, I do not want to go through all the books that I read this year. But I was like, fine, if I stumble across the rating and it's obvious and I can see, then I'll go ahead and answer it. So we'll start with the highest first. The highest rated book, totally agree, and it should just be rated higher, and it was Finding Me by Viola Davis. I'm so happy that this is the highest rated book that I read this year because I completely agree. This book was so beautiful and it was so vulnerable and it was so real and it was so raw. So I definitely agree that this should be a very high rated book on Goodreads or any platform that you use to track your books. The lowest book, totally agree. And it was titled Really Good, actually. I don't even remember the author's name. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, Monica Heisey. I started reading this book back in the summer and I don't even know when I finally DNF'd it. Let's see. Listen, it says read from August the 10th through October the 31st. I tried, I really did, but it just got so boring and so redundant. It just lost me. It started out so strong. I was like, ooh, this is about to be such a good time. I'm gonna love it. And it just got real bad, real boring, real quick, and I had to DNF it. So I just couldn't push through anymore, so I had to give up. So Goodreads got it right with that one. So number 18 is kind of long, so I'm gonna come back to it. It's favorite quotes of the year. I'm gonna skip and come back. For now, I'm gonna answer the book with the most unique concept. I have to give that one to Happiness Falls. This book was so special to me. I had such a good time while reading this book. I truly did. And I love the concept of this because I haven't seen this done in a book before. A dad goes missing and the last person that he was with is his non-speaking son. Obviously, the wife and the siblings are like, oh my God, how are we gonna figure out what the heck happened to dad when the last person he was with can't tell us, they can't communicate to us what the heck happened. So then they have to go on a journey together as a family and figure out what happened to their dad. So that was such a beautiful and unique concept. Loved that book, ate it up, gave it 5 stars, cried the whole 9. The next question is a book that you read that you would reread. That's a tough one. I could possibly see myself rereading Before I Let Go. It's just so nice to go back and see the notes because then I'm like, oh, I remember why I love this book so much. And usually when you reread a book, there's something you missed or you probably forgot about or that you overlooked or didn't quite click for you that the second time you read it, it will. So I just think the second time the experience will be just as good, if not better. So I could see myself rereading this book. If I had to share one nonfiction for you guys that I would reread, it would probably be When Bad Things Happen to Good People or Raising a Daughter in a Toxic Culture. Both of those books I read this year, and they both were very impactful and very helpful for me for various reasons. When Bad Things Happen to Good People is just a reminder. That's one of those books that if you reread it, it's like, okay, whew, if I'm going through a difficult season or this is happening and that is happening, you just need a reminder as to why these things are happening. So I could see myself rereading it, or I could at least see myself like reading the highlights and the notes that I took, because that book was very inspirational to me during a time when I needed that validation of why are these bad things happening to me? Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and do the question about favorite quotes of the year. I just have so many, that's the problem, and I just feel like I don't want to be like on and on. So I'm going to try to keep it real cute and real brief. Let's start with Kerry Washington's book. This is the moment that had me cutting up, where she says to her father after she finds out that he is not her biological dad, she says, starting today, you'll get to see that even though I know the truth, I still love you. Knowing someone's truth and still being able to love them anyway, that is such a powerful thing. Okay, so these quotes are from 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Oh, this was so cute. It says, it's never over for true soulmates. Ah, that is so cute. Stop it right now. One more. I'm not good enough for you yet, but I want to be, and I'll work on it. I promise. Stop it. You better stop it, Tia. Oh, this is so cute. It was just so cute. And I have to share some from Before I Let Go, of course. Obviously, it's like my favorite book of the year. It says, I'd like for you to trust that the person standing in front of you has done the work to get better and to understand how I lost myself. I've developed the tools to cope when I inevitably lose more, because losing things you love is guaranteed in this life. Oh, so true, so good. Okay, and then the other one. And then, of course, I wrote here literally crying. It says, I want to stand with you when it rains, when the wind comes, when it's hard and the odds are stacked against us. We didn't always do that before, but I believe if and when trials come, we will stand together. Ah, stop it, Kennedy. You better stop it, girl. Oh my God, listen. Oh. How can you not love reading? Like, it's just so good. It's so freaking good. Okay, so I have to share one from Nora Goes Off Script, because how can I not? It literally says that I was crying again, and it says, but I love the idea of being on the other side of the fixing equation. Because girl, you know, the women usually always the one doing the fixing, child. And then she says, I love the idea that he thinks I'm worth the trouble. Oh my God. You guys, I love reading. I really do. And I just love these characters. And clearly my favorites are a favorite for a reason. It's the way they make me feel, you know? So anyway, our last two questions. One is reading goal reflection, 2024 reading goal. I crushed it. I set a reading goal to read 24 books. And it says I'm 51 books ahead of schedule. So I've read 73 books so far this year, which is crazy. Like, how did I find time to read 73 books? I don't know, but clearly the evidence is here. I had no idea that I was going to read that much this year, but I'm very happy about that. And our last question says, after 2023 reading, what are you prioritizing in 2024 when it comes to reading? And I think I want to prioritize my physical TBR. I have a lot of books that are on my shelf that I haven't had the pleasure of reading, and I honestly want to read them. 2023 was such a special year for me because I was able to get back into reading, and it was just so much fun. I've been able to discover so many new authors, and it's just been so much fun. It's been a blast. And in 2024, I kind of just want to do the same. I want to explore other genres. Like this year, I was able to explore fantasy and horror. I definitely want to read more fantasy books, so I'd like to do that in 2024. I want to leverage the library more. I am more of a minimal person, if you have not noticed. I live a very minimal, intentional lifestyle. I will unhaul a book in a minute. My husband always jokes and says, my day is not made until I throw something in the garbage, and that is so true. I just hate clutter and I hate a whole bunch of stuff. So as much as I love like collecting books and buying books, too many books can definitely give me a little bit of anxiety. I use the library just because I can borrow the book, have the experience, give it back, and then my space is clear. So I will continue to leverage the library even more in 2024. And yeah, that's it. I don't have like a particular reading goal. That's a lie. I have to still think about it, but we'll share that in our goal check-in video. So if you enjoyed today's video, watch more videos. Please share with me if you've read any of these books and if you love them or if you hated them. Like I said, do the tag. Even if you don't make a video, just like look it over and use it as a way to like reflect on the books that you've read this year. And I hope that you guys prioritize self-care this week. I will see you in the next video. Bye.